Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I would do the mid-year freak out tag. It is a little bit later in the year that I wanted to do this. It's almost the end of July, but I thought better late than never. A lot of these books I don't own physical copies of yet, so pretend I do. And without further ado, let's get into the tag. I'm not sure who the original creator of the tag is, but I got my questions from Sorry Booked Solid on YouTube, so I'm gonna be going off of those. Okay, so the first question is best book you read this year, and I think that the best book I've read this year so far will have to be Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. When I tell you I'm so invested, I sobbed my eyes out multiple times in this book. I was so invested in all of the characters, all the storylines, the relationships, the family dynamics, like everything about it was so good, and I knew nothing about it going into it, and I loved it. Absolute 5 stars, immediate 5 stars for me. I knew it was 5 stars like halfway through the book. I was like, this is perfect. The next question is best sequel. I don't really know if this counts as a sequel, but I'm gonna count it as a sequel because it was my favorite book in a series that I've read so far. I think I'm gonna have to say Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins was my favorite sequel this year. It was so good. I also sobbed my eyes out multiple times. I want to reread it already. I think I'm gonna do a whole series reread, but definitely the best sequel I've read so far this year. Next question is favorite reread. This was my favorite reread of the year. This is the only book I reread this year, but it's my favorite book. Still is. I read this May or June 2022, and 3 years later it still holds the candle as my favorite book. The vibe, the aesthetic, the characters, the relationship, everything about it. Everyone needs to read this book. I don't care. I take no criticism. And there's like technically a sequel to it, One Golden Summer, which just came out this year, which I also read and also gave 5 stars. So I must recommend Every Summer After, and also One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. Question number 4, genre you've been loving. I must say romance. A romance book is gonna do it for me almost every single time. They're quick, they're easy. I've been reading a lot more like complex romances lately, which I don't know if that even makes sense, but like a lot of romances where the characters have like actual personalities and like complex things going on, and like they bond over that, and it's not just like fluffy all the time, which I really have enjoyed. I didn't mean to do that, but most of the books that I've read this year have like some type of grief associated with them. Most of the romance books, yeah, that's my favorite genre, especially during the summer. Romance during the summer is just like peak. Question number 5, new release you haven't read yet but really want to. Question number 5, new release you haven't read yet but really want to. I really want to read Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. I read her whole Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. I'm waiting to read most of her books like in the fall because they're like kind of mystery thriller vibes. I don't know much about it, so those are always the best books. Question 6, most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I think I would say Does Anyone Feel This Way by Eli Rallo. I didn't know I needed this like 2 years ago. I kind of want to reread it because I feel like now that I've graduated, I feel like I'm in a more mature state to really like comprehend all the stuff that she talked about, and I'm just like, I love her. I'm obsessed with her videos, her vibe, her like, she's like goals, like, so anything she writes, like, I'm there. Anything she says, I'm there. Like, I'm very excited to read that book. Question number 7, biggest disappointment. I hate that I have to say this, but Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. I was so excited. I've heard amazing things from my favorite YouTubers, and I read it and I was just so bored the whole time. And I was so confused, and I really just couldn't wait for it to be over. It started off interesting, and then it just felt like nothing happened. Also, drink of the day is Coke Zero. This is my second one. I'm addicted. But yeah, I don't know. There's a sequel. It's a duology, but I didn't know going into it that there's like a whole like prequel trilogy and like other books related to this, and I was like, man, maybe I should have read those first because it probably would have helped explain things, because there was just a lot going on. I feel like it was too much packed in just like one book, but I will be reading the second one because it ended on a cliffhanger, and now I feel like I have to read the second one. So yeah. Question number 8 is biggest surprise. My biggest surprise this year was We Used to Live Here by Marcus Kleiwer. This book was crazy. I had no idea what to expect. I saw someone say that in a TikTok that they gave this book 5 stars, and I was like, okay, let me read it. I listened to it actually because I thought it was only available in hardcover, so I listened to it, and I recommend listening to it because there's like these little, in the book, there are these little like documents kind of that are used as like evidence-ish to like support the theory that's going on here. I don't even know if it's a theory, but like the stuff that's going on. And the first time I heard it, it had like a weird, like scary, like glitching sound, and I didn't know what was going on. It was like the second thing you hear, like you hear a chapter and then you hear a doc, and I'm like, what is going on? And it scared the crap out of me. And then I was hooked. I don't want to say more because I can't like, I don't want to spoil it, but I definitely recommend this. And it's a horror slash thriller. That's like not a genre that I read often, so I was very pleasantly surprised by this book. Okay, question number 9 is favorite new author, debut, or new to you. I would have to say Abby Jimenez. This is the first and only Abby Jimenez book I've read, but let me tell you, this was a 5-star book. Immediately. This book had me laughing, crying, giggling, kicking my feet. I was so obsessed with this book. I devoured it. The main characters, amazing. The plot, amazing. So this is like an interconnected standalone series, the Part of Your World series, and this is the 3rd one. I think it's also the last one in the series, and I kind of wish that I had read the other ones first because there's some stuff in here that probably would have been like way more gaggy if I had read those ones. But I was still gagged and I didn't know anything. They were so good. And then I told my best friends to read it, and one of them has already read it, and she was like, this book is making me believe in love. And I was like, I know. And that's gonna go right into number 10, which is newest fictional crush. And you know who that is? Justin. He's the epitome of if he wanted to, he would. Okay, this man would do anything for the main character in this book. He's everything to me. And he's good with kids. He's the perfect man. Okay, question 11 is newest favorite character, and I would have to say Irene Towers from Tower of Dawn. I haven't finished this book yet. I'm tandem reading it right now with Empire of Storms. I haven't finished them. I'm about halfway through this one. I'm about 40% of the way through Empire of Storms. I love Irene. She is very complex, and I feel like she balances out Kaol really well, which is who we're following in this book. She's a healer, and she's responsible. Actually, I'm not gonna say anything because that would spoil stuff. But basically, she's a healer. She has a lot of backstory that we find out about, and I just really like her vibe. And every time we get to her point of view, I'm like, yes, stay here. Number 12, book that made you cry. I already talked about it, but Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Just read it. I am not gonna say anything else other than just read the book. Book that made you happy. Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. Like I said, laughing out loud. Okay, question number 14 is most beautiful book you've received or bought. I'm gonna have to say the Barnes & Noble exclusive of the Crescent City series. I've only wanted to buy this series in paperback, and I can never, ever find all the paperbacks in store. But then Barnes & Noble released an exclusive edition. I didn't even know there were exclusive editions, but I was like, you know what? There's only 3 books in this series so far. I'm gonna splurge and I'm gonna get the pretty ones. We have House of Earth and Blood. It's got this like cool design on the spine. It has like a built-in bookmark. It's just like, I don't know. I do love the original covers, but they were just too pretty to pass up, and they were all there. And I was like, I can't find the regular copies of the paperback, so I'm just gonna buy the exclusive editions. We have House of Sky and Breath and then this is the newest one. It's a different cover, kind of, like it's a little different design, and it doesn't have the thing on the side, like the lines, which a lot of people didn't like because it doesn't like line up on the bookshelf, but I don't care. It looks pretty enough, and I think they go well together. Question number 15 is books I need to read by the end of the year. Well, I need to finish Tower of Dawn and Empire of Storms, but I need to do that by the end of the month so I can count them for July. And then I need to finish Throne of Glass with Kingdom of Ash, and then I want to read Crescent City, and then I want to reread ACOTAR before book 6 comes out. So a lot of commitment there, but I think I can do it. And question number 16 is, who are my favorite book community members? I'm gonna have to go with my big 3, Haley Pham, Destiny Sidwell, Sarah Crowley. They just, my book girlies, they do it for me every time, and those are definitely my favorite book community members. Thank you so much for watching my 2025 mid-year freakout tag. I hope you enjoyed. It was fun. Hope you enjoyed. It was fun, and if you liked it, please consider liking, leaving a comment, subscribing, you know, all that YouTube stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.